Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, you guys, because I want to put the right information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life by the people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, you guys, to get the best results for you and your business. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. I got a very special guest for you guys who I'm going to bring up here shortly. It takes a lot to get this friend of mine to come on the show because he's busy. He's out there making moves. He's doing things. And it's it's always good to have your friends come on and somebody who's always been a supporter of your stuff. And I always had your back and everything else. So I'm really looking forward to having him come on. Before I do anything though, you guys, as always, he's a part of this as well, but I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com, whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, you all need access to trailers at some point in time. And the best part, you get paid to move these trailers around, you guys. So whether you're a small fleet, an owner op, or even a broker out there, you can now utilize drop trailer capacity to sell an enterprise level solution out there to your guys' prospects. So what they got on there right now, you guys, is they have Staunton, Wisconsin going over to Milton, Ontario, and you get $525 US to move this one. They have a bunch of trailers out in San Diego, you guys, going all over the US, and it ranges between $1,100 and $2,200 per trailer to move them. You guys, they got roll-up doors as well as standard swing door drive vans going to Minnesota, Tennessee, Missouri, Michigan, Indiana, Arkansas, Mass, Texas, you name it, you guys. It's literally going to multiple locations. And then finally, they got Paragould, Arkansas, heading up to Mississauga, Ontario, and they're moving those for $736 US. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. And my friend JD Redmond, who's going to be on the show right now, or Zach Lonergan, they can help you out, or Stacy Steen, or any of those guys. So JD, what's up, man? It's always good to have you on the show and come back and just even to have the opportunity to talk to you, even though we text like damn near every single day. It's just every day. It's been a long time since we've actually seen each other.
No, it has been, man. I'm excited to be on. I think what you alluded to when he said, hey, we've been supportive of each other. Sometimes what folks forget about in the logistics industry, transportation and trucking, it's a very small industry, and a lot of us grow up together. So we're in roles, entry-level roles, director roles. You get to know folks, and eventually you begin to separate, Chris, what I call the doers from the sitters. Yeah. And a lot of folks in our industry, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to build sometimes. And so when you identify folks that can do and can build, you hang out with them. And that's how me and Chris became buddies. He was a builder, and there's a big difference in growing through attributions and attrition versus, hey, that dude went out, built his American dream from the ground up. It's a difference. So every day, man, we talk about something.
Yeah. Mainly about how good looking JD is mainly
never the comment.
Dude, so you guys have kind of introduced some other service offerings here recently on top of just VHub, right? Because you guys are associated, with FinPark, our also really good friend Anthony Petit, coming on and running that. And then with James over at Finlock, and then financing things, because it's more than just one singular business unit that you guys like. Yes, you guys are each individual, but you guys are kind of all under the same umbrella, and it's all geared towards again, finding parking, asset utilization on VHub, and then furthermore, hey, I want to grow and scale. You can get your financing done under the same umbrella. There's a lot of value in that, right? And it's because again, back to what you were saying about the difference between the pretenders and everything else is you guys overall, your parent company has a very long-standing
Yes.
position in the industry, right? Like this isn't a flash in the pan. This isn't a, hey, let's throw some money at this short term and try and exit. It's like, no, dude, we are trucking.
This has been, so Finlock is our parent company. They've been in specifically the trucking and financial lending, financing, and transportation for 35 years. You can consider it 50 years, but we didn't really digitize things until honestly the 90s. That's when people started keeping track records outside of a big log book from the accounting department. And so Sebastian, the president of Finlock, he recruited me for VHub, and then we started recognizing that we wanted to touch trailers and assets in every way. And that's where FinPark came in with Anthony Petit, because he's over on the parking side. If you don't know Anthony, he founded and sold truckpark.com. Now he's on our side working with FinPark. And then James Currier, he's currently the chief revenue officer for Finlock, where they will finance any asset, floor financing, remarketing of your trailer assets. They will also help you with leasing and renting. And what's cool about the Finlock side, Chris, and I just learned this, they don't always want to be the primary lender or the primary financer. They sometimes like to be the secondary or the tertiary. So if your main financing entity is Wells Fargo, Chase, PNC, whoever you may be using, sometimes Finlock can be a great addition to your secondary or your tertiary when you're not trying to absorb any additional finances, or maybe that line of credit with your primary needs to kind of stay where it's at.
Yeah.
So you go through another avenue to maybe do some floor plan financing. So we want to touch the trailer in every way possible. We want to give the truck driver conveniences in every way possible, because the owner operator can finance, park securely, and find additional rate per mile, which is an increased rate per mile through the repositions with VHub. So we want to make the truck driver, the carrier, more comfortable. But on this conversation today, we're going to be focusing mainly on the broker side of it. I'm excited because I want to offer 5 independent brokers personal coaching with me. I will give them each an hour a week for the next month, and we're going to track how much money they make through VHub.
What? I didn't even, like, here's what's crazy. JD's springing this. He didn't even tell me that this was even going to come up in the show. At all, dude, that's legit, because, like, again, man, to me, it's, I talk about every day on the show, right? Like, hey, these are where these trailers are. This is what they're paying to move them. And it's really, if you've never sold an enterprise level solution before, whether, it's maybe you just don't have the experience in it or the know-how, it can be daunting, because you're just like, oh, okay, well, there's this empty trailer sitting in San Diego right now, and it needs to go over to Memphis, Tennessee. And what do I know? I don't have any customers out there. How do I even do that? So it's like, fortunately, I've done that before. So it's like, it's really about having access to the asset, and then having the autonomy to stage it at a lot of these large shippers, because that's really what they're looking for. It's not that these large enterprise level shippers don't want to work with small carriers. I think it's the exact opposite. It's just, how can your solution as a service provider align with their network, right? And a lot of them need drop trailer pool capacity. They don't want to have everything live loads. They need the ability to have their yard jockey come in, grab the trailer, put it in the, and then put it out in the staging yard, and have the truck, the power only, come in, snag it, and run. And now it's just like, because again, the market's competitive. It's always competitive in the dry van world, whether it's a shipper's market, a carrier's market, a broker's, it's always competitive. But now you're able to utilize that additional revenue to, build up that carrier base, to build up that loyalty, because this comes as a shock to a lot of people. And JD and I laugh about this all the time. You don't have a business as a broker if you don't have trucks, right? Like, all of that stuff is irrelevant. So you need that, but you also need to remain competitive with the market in the highly commoditized world that is dry van. So it's like, you can go on there and reserve these trailers. And, here's how I would break it down. I'm literally going to lay you guys out here a step-by-step thing. I land a shipper in Southern California who moves a ton of outbound power only freight. I'm going to go on to VHub. I'm going to reserve one of the dry vans needing to go to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to have a carrier take it from the yard in San Diego and bring it to my shipper up in Ontario, California, and stage it there. This is going to happen on a Monday. The shipper is going to load it And then I'm going to come in on a Wednesday or a Thursday and grab that trailer. I'm going to drive it out to the receiver in Memphis. I'm going to get it offloaded. And then I'm going to have that power only carrier return it to the destination that is already laid out for you on VHub, and then drop it at that drop yard. And then I get paid. That's really how it breaks down, you guys.
It's the simple portion where it comes in for brokers is the drop trailer network, because some of them are doing bids with manufacturers, shippers. RFPs are still out there regardless of what folks are saying. Yes, the rates may be a little bit lower, and to address the lower rate, or to address, sorry about that, it looks like I'm sweating. So to address the lower rate or why things are looking, or why there's a struggle, remember, spot market is all dependent upon assets. So if I have more assets than I have freight, well, we know the spot's going to be down. If I have less assets and more freight, well, why are they paying more money? Well, I'm going to pay you more to guarantee that my freight can move. And then it becomes an owner operator or a carrier's world instead of, quote unquote, what they call the broker's world. Right now, what you need to be looking for on the carrier side and owner operator side are strategies, brokers, shippers, and manufacturers that you have relationships with. That can help you increase your rate per mile. And so when I'm saying that I'm going to work with freight brokers, and you're going to have to reach out to me, I'll reach out to you. I'm going to show you how you can stage the trailers if that's the MO for you. Or you may say, JD, I just have a lot of volume tractors and heavy drivers in a certain area where you are, and I want to utilize those repositions to increase that rate per mile for my carrier or for myself. That's easily done. But what we're also finding out, Chris, is that brokers, sometimes even 3PLs, are getting on our site. They're saying, JD, we need ways to take care of our carrier. Our carriers are struggling right now. Cost per mile is going up. We're asking them to run the same lanes. Sometimes we bounce them outside of a lane that's comfortable for them and they're stuck. Do you have any backhauls available? Is there any way where I can have a little small deviation and I can make some money? Now, hear me out here. When you're looking at a repositioned trailer, this is not money that you should be saying, JD, this is a head haul rate. This is an addition to, this is a cherry on top. This is icing on the cake. If I have a load that's paying me, let's say $2,000 net profit from San Diego to Dallas, and then I can make an additional $1.5 to $2,000 on the same lane by moving an asset, that trailer, to Dallas and dropping it off, I just increased my rate per mile between the 50 cents and the 60 cents mile. That's amazing. That can offset fuel. That can get a driver to a more profitable lane. And this is where brokers and 3PLs, some of them, are deciding, JD, we want to take care of our drivers by partnering with you. It's one additional step. Pick up a trailer.
Dude, and it's very common, right? Like the power only moves are very common out there. And to be able to I think like it's being able to effectively execute upon a lot of this stuff. And again, it's daunting if you've never done it before, for example. But the thing is this stuff is done all the time. These opportunities are truly endless. And then again, it's just like from a business development standpoint right now as a broker, they say 99% of the time we're asset only right now because, frankly, they are all the amount of capacity that is available. There really isn't a lot of need for them to want to work with brokers. But now you technically are. You can market yourself as an asset light opportunity. And then you can explain to your prospects, hey, listen, we have a relationship with a company who repositions trailers. We have, through our insurance, the ability to snag it, drop it at your facility. We have the insurance. It's ours. We have a contract with them. And that's kind of the thing that you need to put out there because it does sound to most people who've never heard of it before. They're like, wait a second,
who's responsible?
Correct.
Who's responsible for the trailer? And I think you're right. We do offer trailer liability up to $1 million, as well as there's physical damage coverage with all assets that are moved. So we have some asset owners, Chris, who have said every trailer that you move on this platform with VHub, we want the liability, we want the physical damage coverage. It costs $13.88 per day. That's with tax. That is coming out of the repositional cost. So if you're telling me it's going to take you 7 days, 7 times 13 is around things like $84, $82. That $84, $82 will come out of, let's keep it easy, your $1,000 reposition. But as the broker in this scenario, you're giving your carrier the opportunity to make additional revenue by moving that reposition, but you're telling them make money and do it safely. But even if something does happen, you're covered.
Yeah.
And in that instance, when you take away liability, when we stop saying what the max payout's going to be or what the interchange agreement max allowable payout can be, when we get away from all the mumbo jumbo and we say, pick up a trailer, deliver a trailer, and you can cover it with insurance, it's that simple. And that's exactly what we do every day. It sounds too good to be true because this marketplace has always existed away from digitization. There was never really any SaaS involved in it. This was done usually by a fleet manager and their own small networks of relays trying to get their assets moved from point A to point B. When it comes to the broker side, you just want to make sure you're taking care of your carrier. You want your carrier to look up and say, sure, I can go grab that trailer. It's 25 miles out of my way. But if you're telling me that I'm going to make an additional 1.5, we've even had some trailers move for up to $5,000, depending on what they are, then that's an awesome payout for that carrier. And for the broker, you're now no longer having to source the load, the tractor, the qualified driver, and the trailer. We're reducing one more source for you as a broker. We have the trailer. Go find a good driver. Go find a good tractor.
I love it. I love it. John Radvansky, he says, let's fucking go. JD and Chris, what's up? Zach Lonergan over on YouTube says the CRO you should all know. Let me see here. LinkedIn user, God bless America. Amen to that. Tracy St. Clair, she's watching over on YouTube. Good morning to you as well. Sunny Sharma, good morning to all of us. Coffee drinking freight freaks. I love it. Zena, good morning to you. And JD, they want to know, where's your contact info? How do we find out more about you?
Yes. And I mean, if you're on YouTube right now, I would say email me at JD Redmond. That's REDMON. And that's at thehubapp.com. If you're on LinkedIn, shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I do travel. I am, whatever the case may be, just like all of us travel, but I'm always on LinkedIn. It's my main point of contact. And I'm looking to help individuals find a way to offset this raising CPM for the drivers, but also looking to help brokers bring in better bottom line, dude. I have a brokerage right now who, once they started understanding what we are, Chris, and how to implement it into their system, we're paying them on average $25,000 to $30,000 additional in revenue bottom line per month. This is the second month that they've been with us, and it's doubling every time that they get it because it's something that has to be not just taught, but it's a new step in the process, not only for the brokerage, but for the carriers that they have. So the best way, if you're sitting there right now and you're saying, JD or Chris, I want to work with JD and I'm in a brokerage and I don't know how to work with VHub. I don't know how to integrate. I don't know how to get involved. Shoot me that message. I will show you how this one additional step can completely change your brokerage, not only for you on the bottom line side, but make it more comfortable for your carriers.
Dude, you got to look at it like this too. Like, you could also jump on my friends over at Green Screens too to make sure that you're getting the most accurate price on that line haul rate to your customers. And again, automation is everything. Speed is everything. And having access to a lot of that too. Because again, like, dude, I'm not joking when I say, like, with Green Screens alone, I've had an increase of 20% in revenue of Freight One in the last 2 months of working with them, right? And that, so it's like, it's getting on there. And again, like, I'm all about the niche, you guys, and I talk about that frequently. I don't have any dry van customers, but I've obviously, like, my friends that are brokers that do, like, I introduce them to VHub all the time. And it's like, they're, again, let the users of that speak for the results that they've gotten. And, and that's the thing with jumping on there and doing this, you guys. Like, again, it's another way for you to leverage assets, because that's the biggest objection you get out there as a broker is they want assets, right? They're asset only, or they're good with their current network. Well, would drop trailer capacity change your opinion of my ability for you? Again, I can get 10 dry vans for you. These are just the destinations. And again, when you're trying to get noticed early on, you can't go in there and throw that blanket approach of, hey, we can do everything. We're the best at everything. Like, the lanes are very specific, you guys. It's identifying those without saying, hey, can I quote on your freight? It's, hey, I have some trailers in my network that I need to get to Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Dallas, Texas. Do you guys have any freight going there that could possibly benefit from a drop trailer in that scenario where I could drop it on a Monday and I'd come back on Thursday and grab it? Would that help you? free storage for the shippers to get that freight off their dock a couple of days early if the load's ready. Like, again, you guys, it's not just here's your rate. Like, you need to look at it from a different solution-based sales approach, because that's where brokers stand out against the asset providers, right?
You're providing that algorithm that we think about, but you're actually having to physically do it. And an example that we just saw last week, a company, and it was actually a brokerage. They had 10 drivers who ended up in LA. They got stuck and they were like, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to get home. We need a backhaul. They were actually from the East Coast. So these were true over the road drivers. And the brokerage calls were like, well, JD, do you have any assets in the LA area? And I was like, well, sometimes we have things pop up in San Bernardino, but I always have assets in San Diego. They bounced all drivers from LA to San Diego. And you're like, well, JD, that's 150, almost 200 miles. Well, they were going back to the East Coast. They found a high profitable lane out of San Diego to the East Coast to North Carolina. And we also had some repositions going from San Diego to Charlotte, North Carolina, that were paying $2,500. So we absorbed their deviation and the bounce from LA to San Diego and still gave them a little bit of profit on the other end in order for them to get back home. These are the creative ways that brokers are saying, how can I keep my carriers? Because the guy called and said, dude, I think I'm going to lose my drivers. And sometimes rightfully so. Drivers are only beholden to the freight.
Yeah. No,
I learned that early.
Yeah. So how do they know, like, what kind of, if there's a broker out there who's like, now this sounds really good, how do they know, like what condition the trailers are in prior to going in there? Are they roadworthy, the trailer brakes, the tires, all that stuff? What is that like? How does that work?
So we do post and pre-trips for every asset. Before we upload any asset, we require pictures of that asset. I need to know that your trailer is roadworthy. I need to know that there isn't holes in the floor. I need to know that your tracks on the side don't have rust, and I can actually look through the bottom and see my brake seal. I need to know that. So that's the first area that we give when it comes to the asset being ready. But we also allow the asset owner to tell you what the asset is. We have storage trailers on the platform right now. They're 06s, they're 2010s, they're a little bit banged up, they're seasoned, and they'll tell you it's roadworthy, but it's more so a storage dry van. So put that in the back of a lot during Thanksgiving, getting ready for your influx for Christmas, and you have some good storage for clothes or, any dry goods that wouldn't spoil it out in the sun. That's what some people use it for. We give you that ability to know what the asset needs, but also what it can be for you. So you should be good. It's just like going to Hertz, just like going to Enterprise. Walk around the car. Is it good? Crank it up. It's driving well. We got the maintenance on it. We tell you when the last time it was done, and you're on your way.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just like, again, because I've assisted, earlier on in my career, customers who did they were like stripping out their warehouse, right? Like they needed to do maintenance inside of the warehouse, but they had to remove inventory. And again, it's like, what do you do? Like at that time, I was just like, I went to a trailer rental place and locked in like 6 dry vans in that. And again, it's just like, I look at it like this. If you're working with the shipper, I sell on the niche, I sell on my core competency, but if they're coming to you after the fact with additional options, like you just need to know what's out there, you guys. It's just like this. Like I have some freight moving out of Colorado going into South Florida, for example, for flatbeds. My customer's customer doesn't have a way to offload that freight. So what did I do? I called a bunch of facilities that are cross-docking in South Florida, be like, hey, can we bring our flatbed in? You just offload the freight and then drop it on to this other trailer, and then they're done. And they're like, yeah, absolutely, we can do that. Again, it's pre-planning these things out and having a solution. As a broker, that's what you are there for, right? Because I look at it like this. If I'm not providing that solution, somebody else is. And then it's only a matter of time before that somebody has my freight. And again, you guys, like this is just one of those things. Like, how are you building up your service offerings in these areas, in these moments? Because markets fluctuate, you guys. You don't have the drop trailer capacity that a JB Hunt has. You don't have those resources.
And you never will.
Yeah. And how do you compete with that, though? You look for these alternatives out there because, again, you can say this now. There is nothing that I'm not picking on JB Hunt. I'm just using them as an example here. There is nothing that JB Hunt can offer from a drop trailer pool capacity at a certain location that I can't either. If the shipper requires 10, I got access to 10 dry vans now that I can go out there and do it. And again, you guys, it's thinking a few steps ahead for when these opportunities arise. And again, like it's money, you guys, it's additional revenue. If you pulled 100 sales managers right now, every single one of them are going to say, we need new revenue streams. This is a new revenue stream for you where,
Yes,
you know what, as a business owner, this goes through my head. It's no money down and I have access to trailers. Hell yeah. Sign me up to that right now. I'm a broker. I don't like owning assets. That's why I'm a broker, right?
No money down, no assets. So we've had folks even say, JD, you got rentals on the platform right now. Do they have to be long-term rentals? Some of those rentals are week longs. Some of those rentals, you can tell them you need it for 3 days. I've had folks need them for 4 or 5 days. They were doing some local runs, and the rental for that asset, talking to 2012, sometimes in 2015, could be somewhere between $10 a day to $35 a day. Depends on what the asset owner listed for. But again, you're not sourcing this. You're not financing this. You're not walking in and signing a 6-month lease agreement where you're beholden to having to pay for something. This is something where you can utilize a rental, you can utilize a reposition, but you have to become creative. Your job as a broker is to take care of your carrier and to make sure that you deliver on your promises to the shipper or the manufacturer relationship. Those are your top 2 priorities as a broker. And if you're going to take care of them, give them additional ways to either earn revenue for themselves or earn revenue for you so that you can pay them a little bit better on that RPM. But the stickiness right now, Chris, what brokers are looking for are ways to keep my drivers. And VHub is a way to help keep your drivers. That stickiness that I don't want to work with anyone else but this brokerage, because during the down season of 2023, they found a way to consistently increase my RPM by 20, 30, 40 cents per mile. That's meaningful to that driver. That's when they will stay with you. But if the driver looks up to you as a broker or a 3PL, or even the 4 Ps and the 5 Ps that I think sometimes can be mythologically impossible. But anyway, it's a dream. But in that instance, you want to take care of them. It's simple to sign up for us. It's free to sign up. As a repositioner, it's easy to get engulfed into the system and start making money. I think today I'm going to be paying out to a broker almost $28,000 for the previous month. And he told me I've done nothing except just tell them to pick up your trailer when and where. That's it.
So they have a question here. Companies that own the assets, do they have the built-in liability insurance when other companies are moving the trailer? And then does it matter if it's an over-the-road or within the yard move?
No, it doesn't matter if it's over the road or within the yard. And the asset owner can control the insurance. So the asset owner can say, if Chris, let's say it's Chris Jolly's trucking. Chris Jolly says, yep, I got 100 repositions, JD, and every reposition has to have insurance on it. It has to have the trailer liability up to $1 million. It has to have the physical damage coverage on there, every one of them. We set that in our system so that none of your assets move without insurance. Doesn't matter if it's going to be over the road, if it's a 20-minute down the street. If you're telling someone, hey, repo this and go to the manufacturer that's 30 minutes away and you want insurance on that, as the asset owner, you dictate how you want to protect and cover your assets.
I love it. Dude, I think that, again, it's like, as things evolve, as technology evolves, as the industry evolves, it's like, how do you stay ahead? How do you stay competitive, right? Like, and this is coming from somebody who is a bootstrapping small business owner.
Yes.
How do I stay competitive out there in the market? Because again, everybody looks at the larger providers and they're like, what can I do to, compete? And it's like, there are other things out there. And this isn't a, just go do this right now and all your problems are solved. But this is another alternative sales solution. Or if you're talking to a prospect and they're like, hey, I really need somebody who can drop trailers at my facility. You have that solution now, you guys. And that's the big thing, is it's that awareness. It's about, how do we keep the little guys competitive when it's a down market like this? This is what it's all about, you guys. I specifically partner with companies that advertise on my platform that are concerned about keeping the little guy profitable and moving the industry forward. You guys, yep. I take this stuff very seriously, and VHub is that solution. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a 1-truck operation. And like, when I say that, you guys, if you're a 1-truck operator and your trailer's in the shop, how many times have you had to go out there and try and find a short-term rental? Like, now you can just get on, get paid to move the trailers. Like, you guys, it's a great solution. And we always keep these shows at 30 minutes because all of our listeners, JD, are
work
professionals. Exactly. So you got JD put his contact information out there. Throw that out there one more time. And then also, you guys, if you can't find him, reach out to me. I'll put you in contact with JD.
I appreciate it. It's LinkedIn, JD.Redmond, REDMON at vhubapp.com. Chris, thank you for the time today. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully we can keep educating and making people more money.
That's what it's all about. And he's got free coaching too, you guys. He's going to do this for free. All right.
I want 5 brokers. I don't care if you're a brokerage with 1,000 employees or if you are a single freight agent and you're working by yourself. I will give you 1 hour a week for the rest of this month to show you how to utilize VHub for free.
I love it. I love it. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. Tomorrow is Q&A day. All right. If you have questions for the sales and operations related questions for the transportation industry, DM them over to me, you guys. I'll answer them live on tomorrow's show or drop them in the feed. I'm here to help in any way I can, but that's going to be it, you guys. As always, if you guys got value, subscribe and share the show. You guys rank that show, get it out there, because if you see value, your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Have a good one.